Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I have a review video for you, and this is on 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. This book was very kindly sent to me as a surprise from William Morrow, so thank you very much, William Morrow, for sending this my way. And this did come out on January 29th, so it is available now, and this is Sally Thorne's second published book that has come out recently. And I have not read her first book, which was The Hating Game, and that one got so much buzz, and just about everybody I know who's read it has completely loved it. So I do plan to pick that up at some point. I just haven't done it yet. But I went ahead and read this one first. And I honestly have heard not great things about it from people who read it and read The Hating Game and loved The Hating Game, didn't love this one as much. So because of that, I kind of went into it with a little bit lower expectations just to start out with. So I kind of got a little bit of that warning from people who have already read her work and really loved it. So I did pay a little bit of attention to that, but I still wanted to pick this up and read it, and I did. So here are my thoughts. This book is an adult contemporary, and it follows our main characters, Darcy and Tom. We are getting the story from Darcy's perspective. She is a single woman, and she is living in a very old, kind of collapsing almost cottage that she inherited from her grandmother. And she's at a point in her life where this house needs to be renovated, and the whole plan is to renovate it and sell it. Now, she inherited this house along with her twin brother, Jamie. So they both are owners of this house, but she is kind of in charge of overseeing it because she's physically living in the house, whereas Jamie is not even in the same city that she's in anymore. So what they do is they recruit their childhood friend, Tom, who is almost like family to both of them. And he has just started his own contracting company, I guess you could say. So, redoing and overseeing the redoing of a house and stuff, kind of like a fixer-upper type thing. So they recruit him to do this house for them and to run it and to oversee everything for them. Now, Darcy is an interesting character. She's very much a loner. She doesn't feel like she needs anybody. She doesn't want anybody taking care of her. She feels like she can do everything herself. Tom is very much a taking care of other people type of person. He puts other people first all the time. And so they find themselves, simultaneously working on this house together. And, they're kind of battling a little bit because of that. There's also some personal situations going on between them. There's some feelings going on between them that are not being resolved very well. And so you kind of see them struggle with that throughout the process as well. And you kind of see this whole project, get started and what's happening and what the dynamics are between all the characters and everything. And it just kind of goes from there. So that's the main premise of the story. As for what my thoughts were. All right, I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. I may go into a little bit more detail towards the end of the video. And when I do, I'll just let you know that I'm probably going to talk about a few things that if you haven't read the book yet, you may not want to listen to. They won't be like big spoilers or anything, but they'll probably give a little bit away. But for non-spoilery stuff, I'll start with that. I gave this book 2 stars. And the reason is I overall just didn't really enjoy it. I did go in with lower expectations, and I was kind of expecting this to maybe be a 3-star read, and that's kind of how I felt, starting the book off and as we were kind of getting into everything. And then towards the middle of the book, it just kind of went downhill for me. So it ended up being a 2-star read. Now, what did I like about the book? What I liked about the book was there was definitely some good sexual tension there. So it wasn't a book where, these characters, they've known each other since childhood. So these are not, strangers coming together. They've known each other almost their entire lives. So they already have, that background and that history together. So they didn't just fall in bed the first second that they saw each other. That wasn't how this happened. It did take a while for anything like that to happen. But I like that because I do like things kind of drawn out a little bit. I don't like it when it's instant and it just happens all of a sudden, and I don't like that. So I did appreciate that it was definitely a buildup. I also did like Tom as a character. I thought he was extremely caring and he really cared about Darcy, and you could really tell that he cared about Darcy and that all he wanted to do was to do a good job on their house and to make her proud and her brother proud and all that. He didn't always make the best decisions, I don't think. And there were some things that happened where I kind of picked up on it a little bit early on. So in that way, it could get a little bit predictable. But overall, I liked Tom as a character. He was probably my favorite character in this book. And that's kind of what I liked about it. Here's what I didn't like about it. This list is a little bit longer. I did not like Darcy. Not even a little bit. I really didn't like her. I didn't like that her character it didn't feel genuine. She was this badass girl wearing leather pants and working in a biker bar and, not taking any crap from anybody, but it seemed overdone and it seemed like she wasn't being her true self. And you kind of pick up on that throughout the story as well. She's trying to be something that she's not. And that drove me a little bit nuts because she didn't even do it well. So I didn't like that. And I also really didn't like the way she treated Tom, because I feel like the way she treated him, the way she talked to him, the way she talked about him, the way she thought about him, it was all so sexual and just nothing but sex appeal. And I feel that if the roles were reversed and he was thinking that way about her, he would be seen as a sexist pig. But she's doing it to him. And I almost felt the same way. I was like, you're completely just treating him like he's nothing but a sex toy. I don't understand why that is. I wanted more emotion from her. I wanted more, she's attracted to him because she has an emotional attachment to him. And it's something like she loves him, not just because he's hot. And that's all I got from her, was that he's so hot and he's so sexy. And if I read one more line about his abs, I swear, I understand being sexually attracted to somebody, but it was way over the top and it got under my skin big time. And that to me made me feel like she didn't appreciate him as a person, as the person that he is. She appreciated him for the way that he looked. And it bothered me really badly. So there's that. I also felt the writing was rushed, and I felt that it just didn't make sense in a few little places. There were some little things that I was able to pick out where, she talked about snow but it's so hot she couldn't wait for it to get cold to use the fireplace. I was like, wait, but we just talked about snow. And I had to go back and look at it. And I was like, oh, I think that was supposed to be like a metaphor, but it didn't make sense to me. I literally thought it was snow that they were talking about. And then, a couple of paragraphs later, she was talking about wanting it to be cold again so she could use the fireplace. And I was like, wait a second. So that threw me off a little bit. And it was a few things like that throughout the book where I had to go, well, wait a second. I thought this just happened. Or wait a second. I thought he was here, but now he's here. And that happened a few times. So I'm not sure what the disconnect there was, whether it was actually the writing or if it was me. I'm not sure what it was. But it lowered my enjoyment of it. And I also, I don't know. The main thing that really bothered me in here was Darcy. She really was just not a character for me. I thought, there was a little bit of character development, a little bit, but I still wasn't buying it. And it was almost like two completely different characters at times. And she made weird decisions. And I don't know. I didn't like her at all. And it made me a little bit sad. So, yeah. So that's all I'm going to say for kind of non-spoilery stuff. I don't think I said too much, but I will go into a little bit more spoilers right now. So if you haven't read the book and you don't want a little bit more knowledge, I would go ahead and cut it off here. But if you have read it or you don't care about, just a little spoilers, then I will go ahead and just talk about a few things here. So one thing that really bothered me was that, Darcy practically was trying to rape him when they are in the middle of it's kind of when she found out that he was not engaged anymore. He had been engaged to be married. And then she found out he was single. And she practically was wanting to jump on him and literally screaming at him to have sex with her. And I was just like, are you serious right now? I don't know. And I don't know how Tom was okay with that. I mean, he wasn't. He sat there and said, are you crazy? But why he wouldn't just completely distance himself from her because of that. And there was this attraction he's always had to her, and he's been in love with her for whatever. Okay. But just, I don't know. I really just sat there and went, what? Why are you doing this? Why are you saying this? What? That was really my reaction the entire time. So I didn't like that at all. Like that whole scene just made me cringe. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And it made me go, are you seriously that desperate that you're literally screaming at someone to have sex with you? You know, her heart condition also was a little strange, and it bothered me that she didn't seek help for that, or that she didn't keep up on her medications and going to the doctor. That's your heart. You know, I have a heart condition too, and I have to, you know, I make sure I stay on top of it. I'm on medication for it, and I make sure, because I've had palpitations before, and those are scary. So when I'm reading about that in here, and she's saying she hasn't been to the doctor in 2 years and her medication's expired, I'm like, why aren't you taking care of the one thing that will easily kill you if you don't stay on top of it easily? And it just, I don't know, that bothered me too. And that she would have doctors who gave her this medication and wouldn't require her to keep coming back. You know, I know you can't force people to do that, but like, oh my gosh, seriously. So I didn't like that either. And I thought that was just kind of a weird medical condition to throw in. So it didn't make sense to her as a character. It didn't help her be a more developed character, I guess you could say. So I don't really know why that was in here. And yeah, I don't know. So much of it didn't work for me that even the things that I liked weren't enough for me to fully enjoy the book at all. I kind of felt like, you know, especially the last part of it, the last half of it was a chore for me to get through. So it was sad. I also didn't like the underwear scene where she was photographing him as the underwear model. I thought that was the weirdest thing to be doing in the middle of his job. And all of a sudden he's going to be an underwear model for 10 minutes. No. What? Like, and he's, you know, so gung-ho about being a professional, and I'm the boss man now, and I'm doing this. Oh, I'm going to take off my clothes and be an underwear model for 10 minutes. What? So yeah. It just, I don't know. This just in all aspects really didn't work for me at all. So, it was unfortunate, but I'm hearing similar things. Certain people are not liking the same things that I am. So I don't feel like I'm alone in this. And, I still want to pick up her first book, The Hating Game, because even people who gave this 1 or 2 stars gave The Hating Game 5 stars. So I'm wondering if this is just a fluke, and I guess we'll see moving forward. So I do want to read The Hating Game. If she comes out with a 3rd book, I may be inclined to pick it up. We'll have to see what the plot is, if it would be something I'm interested in. But yeah, so overall, unfortunately, this one was a 2-star and just kind of a big miss for me. But I do still really, really appreciate getting a review copy of this from William Morrow. So thank you guys for sending this my way so that I could read it and I could get my thoughts out there. If this is something that you still think that you are interested in and that you still want to get, I will leave the Amazon link down below. And I think if you've read Sally Thorne's first book and you want to give this one a try, still do it. You may feel completely different from me. You know, I have also seen 4 and 5-star reviews for this one. So it's, I may not be in a big minority, but I'm also, you know, I may be middle of the road on this one. Everyone feels different about different books. So, all right, that's going to be it for me today. Please let me know if you guys have any questions down below. If you guys have read this, let me know what your thoughts were as well. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day.